Time to get underway with our second of 3 junior road tax heats. It's groups A versus C. Let's have a look at your starting grid. Alberto Kiko Fracassi will start from pole position ahead of Armand Hamilton. Row 2, it's Mateo Denkovic and Max Cuthbert with Boloet and Tay Stevens on row number 3. Tom Serler and Lucas Sells will round out the top 4 rows with Christopher Elfagali and Max Sidursky completing the top 10. Thomas Behrmann, Luca Brima, Batuan Kumas, Matthias Jellerup, Krip Knoren, Timo Jungling, August Raver, then we've got Olivia Yonkers, Joshua Graham and Ryan Bourguignon rounding out the top 20. James Anagostiidis and Isaac Demelweek will round out the top 11 rows ahead of Danny Shields, Tino Sidler, Julian Kovacevic, Nemanja Jovanovic, Kiran Bartenstein, Thomas Ingram Hill, Glenn Schwillens, Mathis Aumetre, Jake Menton, Romeo Nazar, Josephine Wunderov, Johan Zlobinski, Bruno Perla and Hughes Piquillon rounding out the 36-strong grid. So, after their third race, well, the third heat later on this afternoon, we'll then find out who will be going through to the top 30, automatically qualifying for the pre-finals, pre-final and the final tomorrow, whereas the other 24 out of 54 drivers will be battling early tomorrow morning for the final 6 places on the grid through the Junior Rotax Second Chance Heat. And then the remainder, the 18 that don't get through, will then end up competing for trophies in the B final. There's Fracassi and Hamilton. They'll be on the front row. They'll be the ones controlling the pace. On the rolling start, the red lights ignited on the starting gantry once again. This will be a very well organised and tightly packed formation as the drivers make their way out of the final corner into the tram lines. Are we ready? Are we steady? Junior Road Tax Heat number 2 gets underway first time. Good start by Fracassi and Hamilton trying to keep it pinned round the outside, going in through into turns number 1 and 2. Radenkovic looking up the inside, gets through. Hamilton has to use the runoff area to avoid any kind of incident and stays in 3rd place. Max Cuthbert in 4th. Looks like Boloet might be up into 5th place as there is a little bit of drama at the back end of the field. 2-3 wide at points. As they go through into turn number 7, it's a little bit of a squeeze and someone's having to use the runoff area off of turn number 7 to avoid any incidents there. It's 3 abreast. Some drivers trying to make up positions. I think one of which was Danny Shields, who's just made a nice move through the inside of turn number 9 just now on the opening lap. Fracassi leads the way. Radenkovic 2nd. Hamilton 3rd. 4th, it is Loet. Cuthbert in 5th. And there is the move to take the race lead on the beginning of the 2nd lap by Mateo Radenkovic, but Fracassi is not wanting to relinquish it. I think he's got back. Well, I thought he might have gotten back through, had Kiko, but on that particular occasion, not quite. It was Elfagali up the inside of Max Cuthbert through turn number 6, the Lebanese driver. First ever driver to win a World Karting event, which was the Grand Finals in Portimao last year, from anyone from said nation, and got a lot of coverage as a direct result. Boloet looks to be now up into possibly 3rd place. Thomas Behrmann also trying to get through to get a couple of positions. And he's trying to battle away. That is with Elfagali. Just behind them, that is going to be either Max Sidursky or Luca Prima as they come across the line. Fracassi now leads. Radenkovic gets a little bit of a slight touch from behind, courtesy of Boloet. Loet started down in 5th, now up into P3. Hamilton and Tom Strehler round out the top 5. Elfagali now up into 6th ahead of Thomas Behrmann. Dave Stevens ahead of Lucas Sells and Matthias Jellerup, who round out the top 10 positions. We have got a cart, unfortunately, On the inside, could be Josephine Wunderhoff from RS Competition, who's walking away from the kart. So that kart will take no further participation. Looks like Hughes Piquillon is also out of the race. So 2 drivers out of 36 not taking any further participation. And Louet has got past Radenkovic in the meantime. Looking over his left and right shoulder frantically was Bo. Hamilton has got Tom Sweller not too far behind. Behrman now up into 6th position ahead of Dave Stevens. El Fagali drops to 8th place. El Fagali's been doing a lot of simulator training coming into the couple of weeks leading into this event. So Glenn Schwillens drops to 33rd. Nemanja Jovanovic, who started 26, has actually dropped outside of the top just outside of the top 25. Kieran Bartenstein, Ryan Bourguignon have made up moves. So has Joshua Graham starting 19th. Youngster from Argenti Motorsport in the 298, now 14th position. First ever European road tax event he's attended. Has raced elsewhere in karting, but in different categories. Now the race is really on for 2nd position. Boluet is going defensive as Matej Radenkovic tries to thread the eye of the needle, and Boluet gets the touch as a result of the 297. A bit of a tricky rejoin there. Bit of a late rejoin, I fear, from Matej Radenkovic, who tried to force the issue. And that, again, Armand Hamilton was just gifted that opportunity. And now there's still more havoc happening around the circuit. Boluet, you've got the 222 there as well. Max Swiderski amongst others. And there is Radenkovic. Oh no, that is not Radenkovic, that is Tom Sturler. So Sturler has now got through on Hamilton for 2nd position. Fracassi has now bolted away from the rest of the field and has a comfortable lead. Radenkovic now down into 4th position. 5th it's Tom Sturler, then it's Thomas Behrman, who's now got the 212 behind him. That is Olivier Yonkers. Actually, El Fagali's now up into 5th. So, yeah, there's been a couple of drivers that have also dropped as well. That was Matthias Jellerup that has dropped down the order. So El Fagali 5th. There's an absolute carambolage happening in the mid-pack. I count at least 6 or 7 karts. That's probably around about below 15th position that has just gone like a load of hornets heading through into turns 4 and 5. So just under a minute and a half remaining in this penultimate junior road tax heat. And Alberto Kiko Fracassi is trying to take full advantage of what has happened behind. So the Italian in the 276, Armand Hamilton trying to get through on Tom Sehler. Went a little bit wide into the final corner. A little bit further back, that is Olivier Yonkers passing Thomas Behrman into turn 2. So 259 now drops into 7th position. He's got Dave Stevens, Krik Knoren, Lucas Sells from France is running at the top 10. It's not too far behind this. There's the 282 of Stevens, tries to get through on Behrman as they head down into turn 7. Behrman manages to put himself neatly in front of Dave Stevens going into the braking zone and into the apex. Behrman now trying to look up the inside, retakes the position. Oh, that was a bit of a mistake there from Yonkers, and that nearly allowed Dave Stevens to get through, and Stevens is through the final corner. 2 more laps to go, including this one, and Fracassi is still leading. Radenkovic has now got through, and there is El Fagali. El Fagali trying to see if he can get past Armand Hamilton. The Lebanese driver tried to get through at turn 2. Hamilton was firm in his defence, and now this time through into turn 6. El Fagali gets through, runs Hamilton fairly, well, it was a fair move, and they gave each other enough racing room. El Fagali got through. Hamilton had to not avoid, but just keep out of harm's way for the pair of them, so there was no incident. So good spatial awareness by both drivers. So the timer has hit 0. One more lap to go after this. Still some battling away. Boulouet is having to try and do his best. He's got the likes of Lucas Sells, amongst others, battling with him. But last lap board is out, and Alberto Kiko Fracassi is leading the way. Tom Srela in second. Radenkovic in third, and Radenkovic has pulled the pin on the grenade and got past the Latvian. And El Fagali is not too far behind either. Final lap underway. Hamilton in fifth, Behrman in sixth, Loet, Sells, Stevens and Knoren round out the top 10 positions. As our leader now makes their way through into turn number 9 for what is the last time on lap number 9 itself. Alberto Kiko Fracassi has basically done exactly what he's needed to do. He's taken a page out of the playbook of Kasper Schomans, who won the earlier heat today. Out of the final corner comes the Italian, and the 276 picks up heat 2. Victory for Strawberry Racing. Good run by Matej Radenkovic to recover to second. Tom Srela and Christopher El Fagali from Dan Holland Racing ran at the top 4. Ahead of Armand Hamilton, Thomas Behrman, Boulouet, Lucas Sells, Dave Stevens and Knoren ran out the top 10. Olivier Jonkers would finish in 11th, ahead of Joshua Graham, Thomas Ingram Hill, Timo Jungling and Max Cuthbert. Kinnan Bartenstein, Batuan Kumas, Max Sidursky, Tino Sidler and Ryan Bourguignon round out the top 20 positions. After that, it was James Anagnostiaitis. I'm going to have to speak to the parents a little bit later on because I can't get that surname right, no matter how hard I try. Apologies for that. Danny Shields in 22nd. Isaac de Melweek rounding out the top 23 ahead of Luca Prima, Nemanja Jovanovic, Matti Sometre, August Reiber. Then we've also got Bruno Pearl, Glenn Schvillens, Jake Menton, Julian Kovacevic, Johan Slobinski, Rami Nazar, and then we've also got Matthias Jeller rounding out the 34 that finished the race. 35th, retiring on lap 1, Josephine Wunderhoff from Denmark, and from France, Hughes Piquillon.